The public protector has come under fire for pointing out the Reserve Bank's failure to put the interests of ordinary South Africans first. But none of Bosisiwe Mkhwebane's attackers paid attention to the bank's failures. The former Reserve Bank Governor, Tito Mboweni, launched and criticized Mkhwebane for pointing out South African Reserve Bank's flaws in not recouping the 1.1 billion rand loaned to Bancorp. The ANC Secretary General, Gwede Mantashe, and the Treasurer General, Zweli Mkhize, have also come out to the Reserve Bank's defense, along with Cass Kuvadia of the Banking Association. But interestingly, no one paid attention to the bank's failure to change the lives of ordinary people for the better. Now, this raises questions about their protection of the South African Reserve Bank at all costs, when all indications are that it is serving the interests of a select few capitalists and stalling transformation in the process. And here's how Mboweni, Mkhize and Mantashe make flawed arguments in the defense of the Reserve Bank. First, Tito Mboweni says the South African Reserve Bank did not recoup ABSA bailout money as the stability of the banking and financial system was at stake. However, this is flawed because the logic that will render some institutions unaccountable. Further, Mboweni does not reveal why no effort was made to recoup the money once the stability concerned was realized. Also taking a look at Tito Mboweni's defense of the South African Reserve Bank, political considerations like transformation will compromise the Reserve Bank's independence. Now, this is problematic because the South African Reserve Bank cannot turn a blind eye to the economic realities and the need to transform collusive and oppressive aspects of the financial sector. Now, taking a look at Mkhize's defense, once again, of the South African Reserve Bank, he says that effecting a constitutional change to South African Reserve Bank's mandate is beyond the public protector's ambit. However, Mkhize overlooks the fact that can the South African Reserve Bank once again turn a blind eye to the economic realities, the need to also transform the collusive and oppressive aspects of the financial sector? Once again, we take a look at Mantashe's defense of the South African Reserve Bank. He goes on to say that South Africa will battle economically if it tampers with South African Reserve Bank, which gives the country its credibility. However, Mantashe ignores the fact that transforming the economy to benefit the majority outweighs protecting the narrow interests of one institution. While Mantashe further says the Reserve Bank should take Mkhwebane's report on review to ensure its mandate stays the same. However, Mantashe's defense is flawed. He overlooks that South Africa's Reserve Bank mandate has to change for the country to realize its economic transformation goals.
I'm thinking the only reason such would happen is that many former ANC finance leaders, ministers, Reserve Bank governors will be implicated in this whole process, or they are already implicated as having this symphony of monies in the public protector's report towards the banks as well as the CX report. It will implicate mentioned names, and some of these things took place under the leadership of many former ANC financial sector leaders like Trevor Manuel, like Pravin Gordhan, like Tito Mboweni and Trevor Manuel's wife and so
When
forth.
the former public protector issued her recommendations, everyone, including Mr. Trevor Manuel, including Ms. Maria Ramos, everyone said those recommendations are binding. When the current public protector comes out with recommendations that does not suit their purpose, suddenly the recommendations does not seem to be binding. Now it can be challenged in court. Now it must be taken up. Now we must listen to the mainstream media talking about the strange report by the current public protector. Have you ever heard that being said about the previous public protector? No. It should not just be an investigation about what happened with regards to government and the Reserve Bank. The particular individuals that were negligent on their job, the minister responsible at that time, the director general responsible at that time, the governor at that time should be investigated also. And if they were negligent and criminally negligent, they should also be kept responsible criminally.
You see, the problem with our people here, they are selective. When it was about Nkandla and President Jacob Zuma, they were all supporting the public protector, then Thuli Madonsela. And no one said it's judicial or overreach. But now that it is hitting strong on Treasury, people are saying it's judicial overreach.
Well, the attacks on the Public Protector's recommendations raise the following key questions. Has the South African Reserve Bank contributed in any way to financially empower the marginalized South Africans since 1994? And has the South African Reserve Bank protected ordinary people's interests, or has it only protected the financial sector's interests?